So, what we've done here is piece together a whole bunch of scattered thoughts from all over the internet. Now, on their own, they might just seem like random digital noise, but when you put them all together, they paint this surprisingly clear picture of what it actually feels like to be extremely online in this day and age.
And this quote, wow, it just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? It's that feeling deep down, that mismatch between our human nature and this constant, relentless pressure to perform, to post, to turn our lives into something called content. This single sentence really sets the stage for everything we're about to explore. So, where does that conflict actually lead us? Well, it leads to a condition that the internet has given a perfectly fitting name: the age of brain rot. Honestly, it's the perfect diagnosis for that dazed, kind of overwhelmed feeling you get from being plugged in all the time. Okay, let's dig into that term itself, brain rot. It's so visceral, you can almost feel it. It's this idea that our minds are just being filled up with, well, low quality, meaningless, and a lot of times AI generated slop. It's not just about being distracted, it's this genuine feeling of mental fog, of cognitive decline, from just scrolling and scrolling through endless, pointless feeds. And this is the kind of world that brain rot creates, and it comes at you fast. It all starts with this really stark idea that the physical world, the real world, is just losing its grip on us. The logic seems to be, why even bother leaving the house when all the important work is just you writing emails on the internet?
Then, the disorientation gets even deeper. The line between the representation of reality, the map, and reality itself, the territory, it just completely dissolves. But then you get the punchline. There's no map and no territory. We're just floating. We're in this sea of pure information with nothing to hold on to. And then, after all that frantic energy, all that chaos, you get this, the crash. That one quiet moment of clarity when the exhaustion finally hits you, and the simplest thought bubbles to the surface. I should just stop. This is burnout. This is the end of the doom scroll.
Okay, so what are the actual consequences of living in this state? Well, it starts to creep into the most fundamental parts of our lives: how we work and, how we love. The online world is just relentless about pushing us to be data-driven. Everything has to be measured, quantified. But what do we lose in that equation? Well, all the things you can't easily measure: intuition, vision, and maybe the most important one of all, love. We are optimizing our lives for metrics, and it's coming at the very real expense of meaning. And this really cuts to the emotional core of the whole problem. The basic architecture of the internet, it just wasn't built for real human connection. No way. It was built for likes, for shares, for these quick, fleeting interactions, not the deep, living, eternal love that, let's be honest, we all actually crave. It's a huge technical and emotional deficit. So what does this life actually look like on the ground? It's where the lines get so blurry that remote work and long-distance relationships start to feel like the exact same thing, just abstractions on a screen and a potential path to depression. Work itself kind of dissolves into this era of fake email jobs. And that big AI future that's always looming, it feels less like a utopia and more like a devil's bargain. We get maximum efficiency, but the price we pay is our total isolation. But look, it's not all doom and gloom, because out of all this digital fatigue, this powerful counter-movement starts to bubble up. It's a conscious, deliberate search for something authentic, something real. And the resistance, it starts with something incredibly simple. It's the small act of choosing to turn to another person instead of turning to a machine. There's a specific, irreplaceable joy in that simple interaction. It's like the first step in taking back our humanity from the algorithm. And this, of course, leads to a much bigger question. Think about it. A bar is a third place. It's somewhere you go for spontaneous, unplanned human connection. But where do you find that online anymore? In a world that's all curated feeds and private group chats, that digital bar feels like it's been shuttered for years. So if the digital bar is closed for business, maybe the only real solution is to log off and go on what these posts are calling an IRL side quest, a real-world mission to find a little bit of purpose and connection. Here's a perfect example. Someone sees an iPhone dropped on a bike path. The quest is simple: find the owner and return it. And the reward? It's not experience points or some digital badge. It's the simple, powerful feeling of doing something good for another human being. It's a reminder that common decency just feels, well, it feels good. And look, these side quests, they don't have to be some grand epic adventure. They're found in the tangible sensory world. It's the smell of chicken stock simmering for hours, the satisfaction of absolutely nailing a new recipe. It can even be just driving a few kilometers out of the city to breathe some different air and experience reality. These are the real antidotes to digital abstraction.
All right, so we've seen the problem, brain rot, and we've seen a personal solution, the side quest. But where does that leave us? I mean, what happens now? And this quote, man, it just captures the feeling perfectly, right? It's that mix of dark humor and genuine existential dread. The task of rebuilding everything feels monumental, almost impossible, especially when we're all just trying to pay the bills. So here's one proposed plan for the future. And it starts out sounding pretty familiar, like a personal branding project, right? Download your posts, find your themes, rework it into a book. But then it takes this wild, beautiful turn. Step 5, burn the manuscript. Step 6, run into the woods. Step 7, make your own olive oil. It's this fantasy of just escaping the whole system and reconnecting with something primal and real. So there you have it. That's the portrait of being extremely online today. A cycle of consumption, then exhaustion, and finally a deep search for something real. Which leaves us with just one final thought. A question for you. When you close this screen, what will your side quest be?